Most agents have heard about just listed, just sold calls by now. If you've tried them in the past and you haven't had success with them, there could be a few reasons for that. One of them, of course, could be that you're not being consistent enough. Number two could be that you're not adapting it to your current marketplace and you're just going off a generic run-of-the-mill script. A just listed, just sold, no matter whose script you're using, has a few key components. It's got your intro and then it's got your body. The body of the script shouldn't change, right? These are questions like, tell me, when do you plan on moving? How long have you lived at your address? How did you happen to pick this part of town? If you were ever to sell down the road, when do you think that would be, right? These are some core questions that give you information on motivation. The intro gets you to these questions. Without a good, relatable intro, you can't even get there, right? People have their guard up. They're going to either slam the door if you're door knocking, or they're going to hang up the phone, right? So here are 3 adaptations that we are using in this market that are relatable, that get you to that core of the script. The first one is the coming soon script. The beauty about this is you can take any neighborhood you're looking at, you do a little radius search, a neighborhood you want to target, find a coming soon listing. It doesn't have to be yours, right? Get your call list, door knock, however you want to set it up. Make your call and tell them, hey, I wanted to let you know there's this listing that's coming on the market in a week or 3 days or whenever the coming soon is, over on 123 Banana Street. We wanted you to be the first to know because homes are selling so fast in this market. I wanted to give you a chance to get your friends and family in. Do you happen to know anyone who wants to move into our area? Right? This is coming up a place of value. It's letting them know a listing is coming to the market and making sure they have time to get into it. Right? And if they say, no, we don't know anyone, then you go right into the core of the script. I appreciate you thinking about it. Tell me, when do you plan on moving, et cetera, right? Number 2, the second way you can change up this script is the we have a buyer script. Now, agents have been doing this the past couple of years. A lot of people like to mail into neighborhoods that they have a buyer, and this kind of gets saturated, and people tend to not believe it now because they get so many of these letters, they don't necessarily think they're true. But I love doing things with synergy, right, that are real. This works best if you actually have a buyer or an agent you know has a buyer. If you're talking to somebody at the office, an agent on your team, an agent on your brokerage, right? If you know someone is looking in a certain area, an area you want to target, get a little information about the specs, make the call real, right? Then come up with your call list, call the neighborhood, door knock the doors and tell these people, hey, we have a buyer looking for X on your street in your neighborhood. Your house seems to really fit the bill on paper. I was wondering if the price was right, would you consider selling your property, right? This is bringing them value. There are sellers right now who might consider selling if they had an offer on the table, but they don't want to go through the whole process of listing their home and going through all that. This also creates a win-win for whoever's buyer it is. If it's your buyer, great, but if it's another agent's buyer, that creates a win-win there. Now that buyer doesn't have to go in a bidding war. We're creating a win-win for all parties. This is part of what a broker does, right? We create value for everybody. Now, if they're not thinking about selling, or they don't want to sell it off market, great, go right into the script. I appreciate you thinking about it. Do you know anyone else in the neighborhood? Or how long have you lived there? When do you plan on moving? Sometimes they give you an initial no, and when you dive deeper into the script, then the real answer comes out. And maybe they want a market analysis, or maybe they start to open the door a little bit. But there's a lot of possibilities. You can find a listing for yourself, or you can find a double-end deal or a off-market listing for another agent. There's a lot of power in the we have a buyer script. And the third thing that we're doing is be strategic. I would rather you call a neighborhood you're trying to work that's moving, right? There's a good list to sell ratio. It's a good price point. Then for you to just simply take a listing you've sold that's maybe 45 minutes, an hour away from your house, and you don't have personal enjoyment about working in that neighborhood, right? If you're not excited about the neighborhood you're working, that's going to come through in the calls. So be strategic about your neighborhood It doesn't have to be your listing on a just sold call. You can say a home just sold. It could be any agent. A home just sold in your neighborhood over on 123 Banana Street, right? We're always being truthful. You're not saying it's your sale, but you're giving people free information about the marketplace, creating a little value, and then they're going to be more likely to listen to those core questions and give you real answers. All right, try it out. Let me know how it works.